to the Esmeric Art Studio. Today's project is an 8x8 canvas. I really like working with 8x8 canvases, and I also drink a lot of tea. So I've decided to start keeping the tea bags and to start using them, because when you go onto Pinterest, there is so many beautiful art that is out there. So this is new territory for me. I'm going to approach it the way with what I think can work, and then from there I might just explore it a little bit more. So yes, please come and explore with me. This project, I can't really tell you what we are going to need now, because I'm just going to go as, you know, the project is evolving. But what I know is I do have my tea bags that I've painstakingly opened, and once I've opened them, it actually looked like almost birds' feet, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can make some birds out of this. But I first want to see how it reacts with the canvas and all that. So I'm going to use matte gel to adhere the tea bags to the canvas. I'm going to start in the center or in the middle of this little canvas. How far does it go down? About this far, just so I can place the other two on either side. And I don't really want an overhang. So I'm just going to go in and start putting it down. And rubbing it very carefully, because this can tear very easily. And just touch up there where there is no matte gel. And of course you can use some Mod Podge for this as well. I was just working on another little canvas with a leaf, and I've painted the canvas green. So that's why my fingers and my hands is green. I'm just doing this sort of almost like a recycle nature kind of thing today. Put that down. I actually really like the way, the effect that it has on the canvas. Oh no. So from here, the next step is I'm just going to start putting the rest of the tea bags down. Actually, I think what I'll do first is I'll put a layer of the matte gel over this one, and then I'll move on to the next layer until, or the next tea bag, until they are all down. Oh, I really like the way that it's picking up there. I'll show you. It really looks very nice. So for the next step, I'm just going to tear off the rest of the tea bags. It works very similar to tissue paper. I think I would really like to try and paint on them, although for today I was sitting here thinking I have a beautiful butterfly stamp, and although butterflies don't have feet like this, that's the closest that what I can get. If I had a bird stamp, I guess I would have used that, but I don't. Actually, you know what? I think I do have one that is it's got some music and things on. I'll have a look in my stash now when I'm done tearing this off. But so I'm going to go around and I'm just going to remove or tear off the rest of these tea bags all around. To tidy up the sides here, what you can do is just to come in with a piece of sanding paper and just sand it down like that. I wouldn't suggest to go like, you know, up and down and up and down, but rather take it slowly and just do that. There might be a different way, and if you know of a different way to you know, get rid of those little pieces, absolutely share it with us in the comments. That's the one way that we all learn, is by, you know, learning from each other, because there's always somebody else out there that knows better than what we do. I can only share what I know, so I'm still open and I still learn daily. There's so many things that I learn from other artists. It's unbelievable how much knowledge is out there. Or just, you know, when you think about just doing something that is making life so much easier for you. Because as I said, there might be a quicker and easier way to do this, to get rid of that. Or alternatively, you can actually just leave these little pieces like that. It doesn't look too bad at all either. So there's a little bit here that I'm going to, I think it's time to pull a new piece of sanding paper out my stash, because this one is fairly gone. Okay. So this is done, and now it is moving on to the next step. This needs to dry for a little bit as well. While the matte gel is busy drying, I went into my stamps and I did see I have a stamp with a bird on, which doesn't look too bad. I also was thinking about the one with the just the butterfly stamp, but I've decided in the end to go with this one. And as for choices, because I don't want to stamp directly onto the tea bags, I want to give it a little bit of dimension. So either you know, use this piece of cardboard, corrugated cardboard, or I went through my stash of handmade papers. So I was thinking I can actually use this as well, and then from there, if I do decide to go with this, I will still add it to a piece of cardboard just to lift it, but you won't see the cardboard sticking out on the side. I decided to use the saddle brown, but I'm scared it's going to be just a little bit too much brown, so I've decided in the end to go with the stays on. So I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to stamp it on both of them, because if I don't use it for the one, I can, you know, I still have the stamp. I can always use the other one in another project. So when you stamp, just always make sure that you get a good coverage. And one way to do that is to actually turn your stamp upside down and you know, just run your stamp pad over it. You can always test it if you want to. For me, I'm just going to run with it, and let's hope that it is a full coverage. So I don't know if you have a better idea, but for me personally, when I work with stamps like this, the bigger stamps, I would actually put my paper onto the stamp. Oh, it's more or less square, so it doesn't matter. I would more or less put my paper onto the stamp and then just press down, and hopefully I will get a good coverage with this. I do have a stamp baron as well, but it's most of the time it's, I don't know where it is. I have a basket where it's supposed to be in my, again, most of the time it's not in the basket. So I'm just going to do, and I really hope I'm not going to smear this all around now. So let's see how it comes out. I love this. Oh, very light. Oh, you can hardly see the bird. Oh no, that's disappointing. Okay, so let's try it on the cardboard and see how it comes. Oh, there you can see the bird. I think it's because of the gold that is there that you can't really see that. So I'm going to load up the stamp again and do it on the cardboard. Stamp is loaded, and let's see if we can get a better stamp on the cardboard. Just press down, and yes, my stamp baron, I actually found it. It just gives you so much more, you know, when you press down like this, because it has a bigger surface. It gives you, so let's hope for the best when we lift this one up. Oh yeah, it's still there, but or there's still some of the ones that's not there, but I think this is the one that I will go with just because it looks better than this one. Okay, so off to the next step. So I'm just going to, oh, let me first just close this, and I'm just going to pull some of this cardboard away and actually expose some of this So the way that you do this is basically however you would like to do that. You can get rid of those ones in there as well, so you can see some of the corrugation going on there. This one does not really work very well, I have to admit that. Okay, so let's just start from this side. Tear a little bit there, take this corner away, and okay, so we do, I think I'm going to tear it a little bit away on this side as well, but just see, you know, what is working best for you and how you all would like it to look. I was hoping to get more of the corrugation going here, but yeah, it's not working so nice for me. Not as much as what I would have liked. Oh, maybe if I do it that way. Okay, let me just see. And even if you go into your stamp, that's perfectly fine, because this is not a perfect project. So yeah, just continue on and play around with it until you are satisfied. Let's see how this looks. This does not look bad at all. I would actually like to have it a little bit higher, or maybe even something around. No, I don't want something around it. No, that's going to be... Actually, it doesn't. No, it's going to take away from the tea bags. So I'm going to do this, but I think I'm going to add some gold embossing powder around the edges here, and maybe some in there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me quickly grab that, and then we can move on to the next step. Read the instructions. They say dab it on paper. Oh, looks like it's coming out. So let's do it this way. And I hope I work quick enough so that at least it's not dry by the time I get back to the start again. Feels so flimsy. Oops. So I'll be dabbing, 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 dabbing. So I don't think I will get a 100% coverage here, but at least there will be some gold that is going to add here to this. And let's hope for the best. And see how it all pans out. I love experimenting like this. Sometimes it's a really great flop, and other times it works out very well. So let's start. Oh, come on. So this is gold embossing powder. It's actually a fine detail one. But this is the only gold that I have. The other colors that I have, I guess I could use them too, but I was looking for a really gold color, or a gold. And you know, the worst thing that can happen is if you do something like this and you don't like it, you just restamp it on something else and you try something else. I always say that's the worst that can happen, is you need to try something else or you need to redo it. Okay, I'm just going to tap most of this off. Whoops. Oh, I think this is going to be really gold. I wonder if I rub some with my finger off. So this can either work, or I'm busy making a big mess. We'll see. I'm just scared that it's going to be just too gold. I wanted gold, but I was actually looking really for some gold leaf. But I'm running out of time for my creating time for today, so I would like to finish this project today. Okay. Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is. Maybe that's also some of the glue part. Yes, so there's going to be 2 specks of gold there as well. Yeah, so let's go for it. I'm going to start with the heating gun, and of course it's going to make a big noise. So you're just going to start from one end, and you're going to keep your heating gun still and then move around the area as you're going. Never go like this, it does not work. So I'm going to go off camera and quickly finish this. I'm not really sold on this yet, so I'm going to go back to this one, and I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to give it that rough look as well. And I have one of these little water pens, so I'm just going to run it along there. It just makes let you tear the paper easier once it starts soaking through, so you get that, not a straight edge but a different edge, or a tear edge, a ruffled edge. So I'm going to go all around. So all the sides is torn, and definitely I think this is a better way to go. I think the reason when I look at the difference between the two is this is very subtle, like fine and dainty, and this is like it's there, it's in your face. I don't know how to explain it. I just think the contrast between the cardboard and the tea bags on the canvas is too much. So I've torn another piece of the cardboard, and I am going to use that. I will glue this onto there, and then I will just glue the cardboard onto that so you won't see it. Well, if you look from the top or the bottom or the side, you will actually see it, so this will look like it's floating. So yeah, that is going to be the next step. Actually no, I'm going to pay attention to the sides as well as the back of the canvas, and then we can move on to assembling the last piece. I'm using this small little ones from Stamping Up, the little spots. I have them for years already and I don't use them very often. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to run them against the side of the canvas to give some texture there, and also to sort of frame it. Brown doesn't really work now that I look at it this way, but we can see what we can do in a minute or two. I've already started with this, so I'm just going to go all around and give some definition there, and see if I can find another brown that might be closer to the tea bags brown. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. No, I think I'm just going to stick with this one. So there you go. This is an easy way as well to add some detail to wooden canvases, or even if you work with wooden boxes, just to use some stamps, or stamp pads rather, or stamp pad ink, or whatever you would like to call it. So I'm going to run it so that there's a definite little border there. Whoops, just slipped out of my hand. Yep, there you go. So yeah, that looks good. I'm just going to stay with this, and I'm going to, I've tested, yeah, I'm going to run it all around the back as well as on the inside, and I will see you when it's all done. What I've done for the corners, this one have just a little bit more gesso on there. At least it's not such a big white area. I've just used one of these applicator little sponges. I was going to use this, but it didn't work either. And I'm just folding it and I'm running it on the inside. It gives you a little bit of a different effect, you know, just from using the stamp pad or the ink pad itself. But it works, yes, right in those corners. There's a little bit of still a white line going, but that's perfectly fine. Nobody's really going to pay attention to the back, but I just like finishing everything off in the back. Okay, so let's get started and assemble our project. And we're back for the finishing touches. So I'm just going to add some glue. And I was debating here whether I must use the glue or some Suquan tape, because I have no idea how this is going, you know, how the glue is going to look through the handmade paper. But then sometimes, you know what, I have to admit I was just too lazy to get up and go and get the Suquan tape, because the glue was just handy. So I'm going to use that and we'll see. And like I've mentioned before, you know what, if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to square one and we redo that again. Okay, just want to close this glue because it keeps on popping out if you don't close the lid. And okay, this is more or less straight, so I'm just going to see that I have that center. Yep, it looks about centered. And this, I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little roller, and I'm just going to roll this on. Actually, if you don't have a roller and you have a bone folder, you can just use a bone folder as well, just to make sure that it does stick, and it doesn't matter which glue you are using, whether you use you know, a glue stick or double-sided tape. Just make sure that you get that it adhere very well. And then from there, next step is we're just going to adhere it to our canvas more or less in the center. I've already added my name. And something else I always do with all of my canvases as well is I add my favorite quotes in the back. And of course, it's the world of reality has its limits, but the world of imagination is boundless. If you follow me, you might have guessed that is one of my favorites, because that's how I always end my videos. It's just, I really love that quote. And I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to add some glue to the back of this one. Now I think this should be enough. Close it up. Use the last little bit. And just put it more or less in the center of our canvas. And again, I'm just going to give it a quick roll. This is a roller that I use quite often when I do metal embossing, so it's always handy on my table. But again, if you don't have a roller, you can just use a bone folder or even your hand for that matter. Just make sure that you get a good adhesion or adhere it very well so that it don't come off if you are, when it's on the wall, I should say. And there you go. Teabag exploration done. We don't see a lot of the tea bags because it's mostly covered with this, but it was really interesting working with it, and I will definitely work with it again. What I really like about it is when you actually look at it, it's sort of almost blending in with the canvas. When you work with tissue paper or napkins, you can actually see that it's a napkin, where this almost feels the tea bags. It's like it's part of the canvas. It's the background of the I don't know how to explain it, but I will definitely work with tea bags again. I'm going to try and paint on some and see how that go. So yeah, share with us in the comments if you try something with tea bags and what is working for you. And thanks again for joining me in the studio today. And always remember, the world of reality has its limits, but the world of imagination is boundless.